And hello everybody, welcome back to Flashback Comics here in Woodbridge, Virginia. I am your host, Troy David Phillips. I am the store manager at Flashback Comics. And over the course of the last 5 years, I get asked one question more than any other. That question is, how do I get started? Where do I get started? I've gotten interested in comic books. I saw a show on Netflix, or I've been watching Arrow, I've been watching Flash. I've seen the latest Marvel movie. I just came out of Doctor Strange. I'm so excited. How do I get started? Some of these books have been running for the better part of 50 years or even more. If I got interested in Batman, where would I begin with Batman? You don't always necessarily begin at the beginning. That's an important point. A lot of people think that they need to start with the number one issue. Change the way you think about reading comics. Think of comics the same way that you would think of watching a television show. Well, that show begins you with the pilot episode with the cast of characters. These characters have backstories. You don't learn those backstories in the initial episode. Subsequent episodes will begin with what's called a cold open. You are into a story that is already in progress. So it's not important that you begin at the literal beginning. No, you pick up right from where you are. You do the same thing with comic books. You walk into the store, like Flashback Comics here in Woodbridge, and you walk down the aisle and you look at all of the covers. And a cover may leap out and grab your attention. Maybe it's the artist. Ooh, this has got Greg Capullo art. This has got Darwin Cook art. I don't know who these people are, but I like the pictures. Start right there. Most of us aren't old enough to have actually begun at the beginning. I wasn't born until 1966. I did not see the initial issue of Batman in Detective Comics number 27. But the Batman that I did see that was in front of my face when I was 4 years old interested me, and as an adult, when I had resources, that is to say, I had a paying job and could buy back issues, well, I went backwards with Batman as far as I cared to go. I took it to certain artists that I liked, like Neil Adams, for example. I took it to certain storylines that I liked, which coincidentally was also Neil Adams. Think about the sorts of things that interest you. You walk in and you look and there are a lot of titles, there's a lot of colors, there's a lot of stuff going on. Well, what sorts of things interest you? What kind of movies do you go in for when you go to the movies? What sorts of television shows catch your attention? What novels do you read? What sorts of things draw you in? You pick up a genre that you find interesting, and you try a couple of different things. No one necessarily picks up the title that sings to them right away. Maybe you do, and you capture lightning in a bottle. Maybe you don't. You tried one thing, but it wasn't quite right, but you tried something else, and you really liked that. That's what you're going to stick with. That's how that's done. Now, maybe you're on a limited budget and you can't afford hundreds of thousands of dollars of back issues. You can't take Fantastic Four all the way back to 1961. You can't take Action Comics all the way back to 1938. But what you can do is pick up the hardcover compilations. Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Image Comics, Dark Horse, all of these different companies have a tendency to package their previously printed material into attractive trade paperbacks and hardcovers. These are actually distinct from graphic novels, and that's something I could talk about in another segment. And these collections make it possible for you to read earlier stories. Now, that's for compilation's sake. So again, with individual issues, look at what you see, pick up what interests you. Don't worry about the numeric sequence. The numbers are there to help you keep them in order, but sometimes you just don't begin with the number one, and that's okay. Read what's in front of you so you'll know if you even like it. And then if you do like it, well, you could ask your local comic shop manager. Maybe it's me or maybe it's somebody like me, but I guarantee your local comic shop manager is willing to help you. You know what? Ask your local comic shop manager, what do you read? Maybe they're like me and they read over 100 titles a month. Maybe they just read a few things, they're very discriminating, and they only have time to read certain things. Whatever, they're probably passionate about the things that they're reading. They probably find a great deal of delight and enjoyment in those things, and they'd be happy to share that with you. So, that's how you begin, and that's how you continue going forward. Now, once again, I'm Troy David Phillips, and this is Flashback Comics in Woodbridge, and I am helping you get started building your comic collection.